How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa, taking place at Villa Park tomorrow. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. Um, I'm really intrigued to see how things are going to pan out. Villa are a very, very decent side, and they're in the Champions League quarter-finals. And yeah, they're a really, really good side, Villa. And it's going to be a real challenge. Villa Park is notoriously a difficult place to go, and I think we're going to really need to be at our best if we want to get something from this game. Yeah, they made some really good loan signings in the transfer window, did Aston Villa, bringing in Marcus Rashford and Marcus Asensio. I think they're going to cause us some problems. Absolutely, and we're going to have to be on it. We're going to have to be on it and at our best if you want to get something from it. So yeah, really interested to see how things are going to go. We've had a lot of football in the last week. FA Cup, pardon me. FA Cup quarter-final went to extra time and penalties, and then we beat Manchester United on Tuesday night in that game that went, well, over 100 minutes, I think, with the added time and that sort of thing. So yeah, look, I think it's been a difficult week in terms of like games played, minutes played. Aina's now out with an injury, which causes a problem, which I'll touch on in a moment. Obviously, Chris Wood's out injured, so it's gonna be an interesting one to see how Nuno approaches the game, to see how he looks to try and play. Personnel wise and that sort of thing, it's going to be an interesting one. I and a couple of others, well, I'd say a couple of other fans, a lot of other fans, are a little bit concerned going into the Man United game, given the fact that there was a game we played a couple of days earlier that went the absolute distance, went all the way to penalties. We were thinking, how's that going to affect us? Are the players going to be, tired? Are we going to get overrun by a side who had an international break and no game before that, after the international break? Maybe they had a few players that weren't going to international duty and that sort of thing, so they could rest a little bit. But we saw the job through. We had to sit in and defend a lot, which I expect us to do again against Villa. But look, I think it was a real opportunity for us to really show what we're about, and we did do that. We really did that, and I think that's a really big sort of indication as to why we are where we are in the Premier League this season. We gave everything we had. We put out Nuno's game plan and did it to an absolute T. To the letter, the players followed what he wanted them to do, and I think that's a really big indication of where we are this season and why we're there, because we're not afraid to listen to the manager and back his plan to the absolute, to the top, because it's so obvious that he wants to play this way, and the players just did everything to make sure it happened. So I'll be interested to see what he plans to do against Villa. Is he going to go with that five at the back, which he deployed after the Olaena injury? Did feel a bit for Danilo when he got brought off, and he has struggled to get back to his best after that injury at the start of the season. And I've seen a few people saying on Twitter and things that he could do with a pre-season and a summer to get himself back to where he needs to be. And I totally agree with that. I think he probably needs a little bit of time to focus on himself and on his own sort of recovery, or his own fitness journey, to get back to where he needs to be, maybe in a mental capacity and that sort of thing. But yeah, look, I think personally a five at the back would be a good idea. Villa are a side who have some very good attacking options. I mentioned two already in Rashford and Asensio. They've got Ollie Watkins, who's a dangerous player, Morgan Rogers. So I wouldn't be too afraid to go with a five at the back, to be honest. You know what? I'd be happy with a point in this one, Obviously, we want all three, and of course we do. But I think if we get a point away at Villa Park, you cannot grumble. You cannot complain at all. That is a really, really valuable point. And given the circumstances, with the amount of games we've had to play and the injuries that are cropping up now, you can't be too disappointed with that one. And I think, yeah, why not? Why not? I think it would help, given the fact that we now have effectively two fullbacks out, because you've got Ola Aina out, and then also Alex Moreno is out because he's playing against the club that he's been loaned from. So it looks like it's a possibility for it to either be Harry Toffolo at left back or left wing back, and then Neco Williams at right back or right wing back, depending on the formation that Nuno offers to go with, or it could be Harry Toffolo on the left and Eric de Sousa Moreira on the right. So it's an interesting one. I probably expect it to be Toff on the left and Williams on the right, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what Nuno's got up his sleeve. But yeah, I would go 5 at the back for me. I'd go 5 at the back, offer a bit more defensive solidity for whoever gets put in, because look, they haven't played much football this campaign, whoever gets put in. I think Toffolo played against Luton, but other than that, I don't think he's played much at all. And I know De Sousa Moreira's had moments here or there throughout the campaign, but I don't think he's had too much opportunities. So look, they might be a little bit unsure on the full system or whatnot like that. So I think maybe having 5 at the back to offer an extra centre half who can pull himself across if needed and fill in behind them could be really helpful. I think seeing that defensive 3 centre halves that we had against Manchester United, I think it's really it really worked, and it gave us a real positive in that defensive area, because we had that extra player who could, instead of having just 2 centre halves, we had a third one who could do whatever was needed, whether that was to go in behind, whether that was to step out, whether that was to pull themselves across to a flank. It was really helpful, and I wouldn't be against seeing that against Aston Villa to try and combat their attacking nature. So yeah, for me personally, I'd have Sells in goal, and then I'd have Williams on the right, Milinkovic, Murillo, Morato, and then Toffolo. Murillo, Morato, and then Toffolo on the left. I think that's probably the best course of action to go with. De Sousa Moreira could absolutely prove me wrong, and I wouldn't be against seeing him there. I think he's a good player on his day. He's a young lad, and from what I've seen of him, I say on his day, that's probably not the right thing to say, but I've seen him have moments, seen him in sort of clips from the underage teams as well, and he looks all right. He looks like an interesting player and someone who has potential to really be something special going forward. But I think Toffolo is more of an out and out left back, in my opinion, left full back, and I would be more probably comfortable with him there than Moreira on the right hand side. But look, Nuno knows the rules. He knows what he's doing, and for all we know, Oleina could be back. He probably won't be, but Cooper used to say stuff like, "Oh, this player's going to be out for a good couple of weeks," and he was back within like 10 minutes. So yeah, look, you never know, but I think you're probably tough there for me. And then midfield, you probably go with something like probably Yates, Anderson, Gibbs White, and then maybe have like Alanga alongside Awoniyi. I have heard that Awoniyi's potentially out, so that could be another thing. But again, we've got Hudson-Odoi who could maybe fill in, and could maybe even have, like, I don't know, Gibbs White. I don't know. I know Nuno's got a plan. He's got something up his sleeve, so I trust in him, and I'll let him do what he needs to do with that one. But yeah, interesting to see what happens in that aspect. But yeah, like I say, Villa, decent side, Aston Villa. They really, really are. They're in the FA Cup semi-finals with us. They've got Crystal Palace. And then also they've got PSG in the Champions League quarterfinals, which is massive for them. That could be us next season. Oh, please, man. I'd love that so much. But yeah, they've got some really, really good players, an exciting side. Defensively, they're quite strong. Going forward, they're strong as well. Got a good midfield, so it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Villa Park, like I say, is a difficult ground to go to. They don't make it easy for you there. The whole 10 will be on your back from minute one. They're a real confident side when they're on it, Aston Villa. I think Ezri Konsa, fantastic defender. He could be someone who has a permanent place in the England starting 11. They've got a really good side there. John McGinn, Yuri Tielemans, Boubacar Kamara. They've got a really good side there, Aston Villa. So we're going to have to be on it. We're going to really have to be on it. But I think, look, I'll be happy with a 0-0. I really, really would, you know. But I expect us to be defensive. I expect us to sit back and try and hit on the counter attack. It's the way that we play. It's the way that we're known. It's the style that suits us the best. It's our identity. So if we did that, look, I would not be disappointed in the slightest. I expect that's how we're going to play. Try and soak things up and hit them on the counter. So look, excited for this one. Intrigued to see how things go. I think it's a good opportunity for us to really test ourselves once again against a side who, you know, on their day can be devastating. They can cause problems for the best of teams in the world. They beat Bayern Munich at home. I think they might have even beat Juventus at home in the Champions League phase. So look, it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be a real tough test, and it's going to be an opportunity for us to really show what we're made of. If we do drop points, it's not the end of the world. Let's be honest. We've opened a little bit of a gap to the teams below us, but we don't want to do that at all. We want to keep things going in a positive vein of form. But yeah, I feel, look, it's going to be difficult. I'll take a point. I'd absolutely take a point. But yeah, come on, you Reds. 3 points again will be amazing. You know, there's been games this season recently in the campaign that I've gone, not sure about that one, and we've got a win. You know, United, I was a bit 50-50. I thought we could do it, but I wasn't too sure. We did that. Manchester City, I was thinking, they always seem to get the better of us. I was not feeling too confident, and we won. So, look, I think, you know what? Let's back the boys. Back them. That's what we're supposed to do as fans, and that's what I will do. But yeah, bit unsure how things will go, but I hope that we can do it. I hope we have enough in the tank to go again, and hopefully we can get all 3 points. But yeah, did enjoy this video, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let us know in the comment section down below what you think of the game, your thoughts on the formation and starting lineup, and all that good stuff. And come on, you Reds.